Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. It is Monday Madness. Here we are. We're going guerrilla tonight. The internet connection on the island of love is very spotty, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere. Welcome to the show, my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies, good to see ya. Here we are. 3 games to go. At ease. Let's deal with it.
All right, Kev, we'll get straight into this. Thanks to everyone for joining in live chat. We really appreciate it. My computer died, my internet died, but Super Kev and I are here. There's no trailer tonight. There's none of that. We're going raw. We're going real. I love this picture, Kev. I can't stop looking at this picture. You were covering the game this weekend as well. And 4 times 3 is 12. This weekend is the Eurovision Song Contest, and 12 points in the Eurovision Song Contest, as you know, is a very good number. It could be that the Arsenal will join the elite of Europe again via the Champions League. Talk me through it. First half, I thought we were brilliant. Fast start, got the goals. Second half, we went a little Arsenal. Allowed a 10-man team to kind of get back into it. Squeaky bum time. Fans started panicking. But we beat Chelsea. We beat Manchester United. We beat West Ham. We beat Leeds United. Here we are. What's your take?
Look, I thought first half was very good. Excellent. Fast start. Put Leeds under immense pressure. Eddie with the great closing down of the Meslier, the goalkeeper. Caught him. 1-0 up. Eddie with a great finish after Martinelli gets free down the left-hand side, gets right to the touchline, cut back. Eddie 2-0. And then it seemed like our finishing deserted us, Soph. This is the problem sometimes. If you don't take your chances, we're 2-0 up, we're cruising. You don't take your chances. And, 2-0 is a funny scoreline. Because if you don't take your chances and the opposition score 1, even though they're down to 10 men, which was a real bad challenge. Let's be honest, it was a poor challenge. You don't take your chances, all of a sudden, they get 1 back, and then the last 20 is like, because Leeds have to go for it. They've hit the bottom 3. They've got nothing to lose. We've got everything to lose. So the key to it is getting the 3 points, Sophie. I know it started to get a little bit edgy at the back end, but you know what? We done what we needed to do when we got the 3 points. That's all that matters. And here we are. So, hold on. I can smell it. It smells so nice. Sophie, we really needed those 3 points because obviously after what happened on the Saturday night, it seemed as though Spurs were going to beat Liverpool. It was going to be a travesty.
It was bad.
It was terrible, but they got a draw. And you know what? It kind of worked out for us because we took care of business. Now, here we are, Soph. North London derby in a few days. Here we are.
It doesn't get much bigger than this, Kev. It just doesn't. This is the moment. This is the time. You've said for a few weeks now, Soph, I don't care how we get the 3 points. I don't care how the goals go in. At this point in the season, just win, baby. It's Al Davis. It's the Raiders. Just win, baby. We lost the games we were expecting to win. We've won the games that we weren't expecting to get maximum points from. Leeds United lost their heads a little bit, but we were dominant from the beginning. And we wanted to go into this North London derby, Super Kev. And we'll get back to the game a little bit, but there's so much to talk about. And you and I may not have an opportunity to talk about the big game before Thursday. It is the biggest North London derby in years. But now we have a cushion. Let's just say we don't win. Let's say we get a draw. That 1 extra point, the 4-point cushion, Kev, going into it, talk to me about how massive that just teeny tiny 1 point is.
Well, the 1 point extra, should I say, Sophie? That's the thing. We got 1 point extra. The 1 point extra, Sophie, means if we slip, we're still ahead. That's what the cushion is there for. If it's 3 points, they win, and then obviously we mess up, they're ahead because their goal difference is superior. But having that extra point gives us a little more leeway, Sophie. But I tell you this much, Sophie. Let me just tell you this. It's an opportunity to knock them out at their place, Soph. We get the chance to knock them out and take that 4th spot. What an opportunity for these youngsters. What an opportunity it will be to take it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And yes, I'm in slideshow mode. You guys have said I look like I'm being interrogated by the FBI. Anything to get you a live show tonight with Mr. Super Kevin Campbell. He asked for it at the weekend, and I've got to put these up. Super Kev asked for his Everton to win. Super Kev wanted his Arsenal to win. Super Kev, who banged in the goals for the Gunners. Super Kev, who took Everton from relegation when he joined and became captain of that football club. He got the results that he wanted. Super Kev, I was so happy for you. Hopefully your Everton have, kind of laid the seeds for that cushion. But our Arsenal Football Club are gunning for this. And you sent me a video, which my dial-up, by the way, was unable to load up. But Super Kev sent me a video from his broadcast. He was right by the Premier League trophy. And it was just 8 seconds. And he said, Soph, this is what Arsenal fans really want. And you're 100% correct. What we want is to be back. We want to be challenging. We want to be in the race. We want consistency. We want competitiveness. We want hardcore. I wanted to ask you, based on where we're at now, at what point should the humble pie have fully baked? Are we waiting until the very end?
So let me just tell you this. There is enough pie there. If we get it on Thursday, there's enough pie there to last until the end of the season and beyond, right? By the time you get back to LA, there'll be a one waiting for you in LA as well. There is enough humble pie to go around, trust me. But you know what, Sophie? We really we need it, Sophie. You look at over the last 2 seasons, Sophie. We've been on air with the squaddies, and we've battled each other at times. We've knocked heads solely because this is what we want. We want Arsenal to progress, right? This is what we wanted. Now we get an opportunity to take them out. Let's take our rivals out. Very rarely we get this opportunity in a North London derby. Let's take them out.
How much do you wish you were playing in this game, Kev?
Oh, don't start all that, Sophie. My God.
Okay, no, I got to, because I'm gonna go back to the Leeds game, because there's some things I want to talk to you about with certain players and stuff. But I just wanted to get the juice out early on, because as a player, I know you've played in the Merseyside.
I am playing. Sophie, that's the thing. Sophie, honestly, that's the thing. I feel as though I am playing when I watch these lads play. You know, the last 15 minutes of the Leeds game, I'm there in the studio kicking every ball. Like, you know, it's gripped me. And now the North London derby, I'm doing the watch along for Sky Sports News on Thursday.
Amazing.
And obviously it's Dicky Bowl Day. I'll have the bow tie on, and I'll be in the studio at Sky. So it's crazy. I'm doing the Everton game at Watford on the Wednesday for TalkSport, and then I'm doing it the game for Sky on the Thursday. So, Sophie, look, another two such important games. I don't want Everton to be coming to Arsenal wanting anything. I want it all to be wrapped up before then.
Yeah,
this is a great opportunity. Great opportunity.
Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, we're going to circle back to the North London derby towards the end of the show. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. There's 260 plus of you in live chat tonight. Tammy, our chief like officer, is in full effect. We have about 80 likes. You know what Super Kev wants. Tell him what you want, Kev.
I want minimum 50%. Minimum 50%. So you know what to do. Tammy, keep us informed, please, darling. Or else I've got the t-shirt on, broke the neck. There you go.
Yes. You and Vinny
Do
don't.
a Vinny.
I miss Vinny, Kev.
Do a Vinny. I'm sure you do. Vinny and Vespa. And the lovely Tony, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
Absolutely.
But you're getting your heart filled with family love at the moment. So
hey, Super Kev, today, as you know, I've had the Rona, and I haven't seen my parents in 5 years. You guys, just we share things on this show, and ever since I've come to Cyprus, I tested positive, so I've been holed up. Today was my first day out. My cousin Helen and her fiance Chris took me out, Kev, for a fish meze by the sea.
Then did you?
Oh,
was you breathing that fresh air? Beautiful.
Oh, Kev, I injected it just like the 12 points of the Arsenal in the last 4 games. I soaked every second of it up. They treated me like a queen. We had a lovely meal. It was great to be around family, and it was really amazing. So if you guys are wondering why we've been laying low, number one, I've been out for the count, and 2, Kev has been our lucky charm in my absence on the telly talking about his beloved Arsenal, covering the games left, right, and centre across this wonderful universe that we live in. So, Kev, let's get to Leeds real quick, because the first half was really great. Mm-hmm. Look, there's no doubt you and I, and you asked on Kevin Says this incredible question about Eddie. And you and I have had a conversation how we felt like he's the man for the moment now, mm-hmm. but he may not be the man for the long term. Yeah. Do you still feel the same way? And also the same way where you signed for Everton and you saved them from relegation that year. Is it fair to say that Eddie coming in for Lacazette has been a revelation and has taken us in this direction where we've been able to garner the 12 points? How much emphasis are you putting on him versus El Neni, the tweaks? Can you talk me through what you've seen and what you in particular as a striker think about the Eddie situation, and if you still feel the same way about that?
Yeah, look, I think the lads that have come in have done excellent. I think El Neni's been superb in midfield. Just goes to show what a bit of experience in there does. I think Eddie being up top with the legs he's got, Sophie. And don't forget, Eddie's coming for a lot of flack. And, sometimes rightly so. But one thing he can do, Sophie, he can get about the pitch and he can run in behind. And running in behind stretches the pitch for us. And that makes more space for the likes of Saka and Odegaard and all these guys. So it's really important that we got someone who could do that, because Laka, for all his qualities of bringing everybody into play, cannot run in behind because he doesn't have the speed anymore. Not that he had it in the first place, but at least he used to get down the sides of people. Now he just doesn't have it. I think Eddie, obviously, because he's a striker, he's better all round than maybe a Martinelli being as a number 9. You see Martinelli play wide, that's where he's more comfortable. He's comfortable out there, taking people on and really causing problems out there. So I think for now, this just goes to show, Sophie, that if we had a recognized striker.
You've said it all along, Kev.
This probably would have been wrapped up, if I'm honest. You know, if we had a recognized striker who could run in behind and take some of these chances, so we would be talking about, you know, we're already in there and you'd have a pie with you. Do you know what I mean? You'd already be eating pie every time you come on. But here we are. I think Eddie's done a really good job. He's got 4 goals in 4 games. And if Eddie could make himself a hero, let's be honest. On Thursday, Eddie could make himself a hero, so because he's got the type of movement that will cause Spurs problems. He really does. He really does. Because whether you like it or not, Spurs are going to have to come for us. Because all the pressure is on them. All of it. They have to address that 4-point gap. For them, they've got to try and make it 1 point, Sophie. That's what they've got to do. A draw is no good to them. They've got to win. For us, we've got to knock them out. That's what we've got to do. We've got to knock them out. We knock them out, we make it 7 points. Not only do we get Champions League football, we finish above them. Beautiful.
And that would be an incredible achievement for the youngest team in the Premier League, a team, Kevin, that nobody was expecting to do much this season. You know, I've been highly critical of Mikel Arteta. This audience knows it. I've given him credit where credit is due. I've criticized the players. We've criticized them along the way. We've given the players credit where credit is due. You've always said it's the players. Mm-hmm. And I've fought you on that for a very long time in our discussions, in that it has to be a balance between the players and the manager. But the players, after losing 3 horrific games in the fashion of which we did, Kev, you say to me all the time, you know, they will reconcile, they will find a way, they will get together, they've got to get together, they've got to figure this out, because what they're doing in training is the same thing every single day, but when they cross that white line, it's down to them. Yeah. Can you talk me through a little bit why you think that jump has been so huge, being humiliated against Crystal Palace, being, you know, humiliated against Brighton, losing to Southampton in the fashion that we did? Then you go and win 4 games in a row. You get 12 points. Mentally, from a player point of view, can you help me understand, like, how this young team has been able to do that and how much the manager has to do with that journey?
Well, the manager and the staff have to, they set the standards. That's what managers and staff do. They set the standards at the football club. They know that the team had fallen way below the standard that they'd set for themselves through the season. And, you know, look, it was a London derby, wasn't it? After losing to Southampton. And do you remember, we said that Mikel Arteta will probably have a team meeting and he'll read them the right act. He'll tell them that ain't good enough, guys. You know, I want to, someone I missed out, by the way, Sophie, was Rob Holding. I think Rob Holding's come in.
Oh,
and he's done a really strong job. You know, also great to see Tommy Arsu back. You know, me and you had a exchange whether he'll be playing right back or left back, but he's comfortable. He's as comfortable at left back as he is at right back.
Insane.
You know, he's excellent. So we are starting to get bodies back. We are starting to get that togetherness. But I think the manager and the staff have to leverage on that togetherness, Sophie. You know, we aren't playing well, but we're getting over the line, and that at this stage of the season, with such a young team, is so vital that they learn how to get over the line. That is really important, and you know, fair play to the players, Soph, for digging in when they had to. They dig in when they have to, and they get across the line. And, you know, look, we're a win away from Champions League football, Soph. You know, you told me that at the start of the season after 3 games, Sophie, you'd be in a straitjacket, if I'm honest with you. But here we are.
That's why I went supersonic, Kev, you know, and a lot of fans did. But I don't care which side of the fence you've been on, and whether you still don't believe Mikel Arteta is the long-term answer, whether you still don't think Xhaka is the answer in midfield, if you think we need a left back, a right back, a strike, we all know what we need. The point is that here we are. And I really don't want to hear that we're here because Manchester United are rubbish and Tottenham haven't been great and West Ham have faltered. I don't want to hear that, because nobody was as forgiving of us in the seasons when we weren't great and other teams finished above us. We've had to find a way. And this is coming from me, who was exceptionally critical of Mikel Arteta. And I'm saying out loud, this team, to find a way and to be in this position and to be going into the North London derby, to be going into these games towards the end of the season, and for it to be in our hands, Super Kev, every team, you know, you've captained teams, to have the moment in your own hands is massive. And you know what? This team's come together in the summer. You look at the teams that played in the first 3 games of the season, especially in that Brentford game. There's hardly, half the players aren't even here anymore. And to see us evolve, Kev, I don't want to hear that United are rubbish. United have Ronaldo, they have Pogba, they have Bruno Fernandes, they have David De Gea, they have Marcus
Rashford, they have Sancho. Listen, they bought Varane. Do you know what, Sophie? Everybody wants to put down what we're doing. I'm not having it either. It's not our problem what they do. We've got to concentrate on us. And that's what we're doing. We're concentrating on us. Let them get on with what they're getting on. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of pressure now because there's a lot of teams vying for the spots. And they haven't been able to handle it, so that's what you've got to look at. Because we've all had the same games. They haven't been able to handle it. We have, our youngsters have.
And with the players, they've got World Cup winners, Euro winners in their team, Manchester United, Kev. They've got Champions League winners in their team. And you know what? They've never been forgiven. So you would have loved this. And my dad says, why don't you tell Super Kev what happened today in the backyard? I'm like, sure, fine, I'll tell Super Kev. So I had my sister and my dad, both Manchester United supporters. Kev, the amount of crap they were giving me about Arsenal fans are sour, Arsenal fans can't take losing, Arsenal fans this. I go, listen to you, United fans. You've hit rock bottom. You laughed at us. You humiliated us when you beat us 8-2. You used us as a dartboard for years and years. And now you guys are at rock bottom, breakdown, meltdown. And you're coming at us. It's beautiful, Kev. I tell you something, I've got no sympathy. I love to see it. They deserve it. We've been their dartboard for years. And we had almost this family blow up today because they just couldn't take the fact that we're finishing above them this season.
They can't. And you know what? I want them in the Conference League. That's what I want. Hey, Sophie, I want Man United in the Conference. You know, the one that we don't want? That's where I want them. I want them. That's the demise of that football club. Listen, it's tragic. It is tragic. But you know what? United have given it so much over the years. And now, you know that pain that I said we had to endure? Now there's a little bit more coming for them. There you go.
And you said, Kev, you said to me at the start of the season, Soph, we're going to have to go through a lot more pain. This is what I love about our show. I'm the fan. I come from sometimes an emotional place, heart on sleeve. Super Kev comes from the place. I've played the game. I've been in these situations. I've worn the armband. I've been in the dressing room. Just simmer down. And this is what I've loved about this season, Kev. It's been like this, and it's been like that, and it's been down, and it's been up. And I'm going to give you credit here because people have called you Arteta's lawyer, and it's not over yet. But even so, I said, if we finish in a Europa League spot, I think that is a good season, right? If we finish in the Champions League spot, that's a season that I don't think many of us were expecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to give you credit because you've been called Arteta's lawyer, Esquire, deluded, all of these things. And as a player, you know, a lot of our listeners respect your opinion, respect where you're coming from, but some of them gave you a hard time about this stuff. And here we are in this situation. And I wanted to kind of ask you, what are your thoughts on that? Because, you know, you see things from a perspective that is just a beautiful thing that we fans maybe don't.
Not maybe.
You know?
Well, it's not maybe. Let's be honest. You're being kind. The best thing I could say is the fan will never understand what it's like because the fan has never been there. You know, if you've never been there, it's all very well talking, but if you've never been there, it's very difficult to understand it. And I get it. But you know what, Sophie? I've got some mini humble pies in there as well for all the squaddies who call me. And by the way, I'm expecting a check from Mikel Arteta because he's got a new contract. So that should be something else, right? But getting serious, Soph, getting serious about this. You have to let the players cross that white line and do business. That's the key. If they can cross the white line and implement what the manager wants, you've got a chance. And that's what they've been doing. And you know what, Soph? There's been times where it hasn't been right, and it's been horrible. You know, we've lost a lot of games still. And yeah, you know, at times I remember, was it kind of midway through the season before we went on a kind of run, we're saying the people were saying we could finish 8th again this season. Blah, 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 blah. I think it was still on the cards because we hadn't hit our strides yet. But we've kicked on. We've had to move and shake. Remember, we said, was it a few weeks ago, maybe January is going to catch up with us. Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And who would have thought, we were saying that somebody has to step up. Who would have thought it will be Rob Holding, El Neni and Eddie?
Players that we've all said got to go.
Got to go. But, you know, they're part of our squad. Mikel Arteta is working with them every week. You know, Eddie's doing well. El Neni looks like he's undroppable. And
Correct.
Holding, I think Holding's been outstanding. So
he's been great. Maybe
you know,
to the point where do you play Ben White? Before we get there, because I do want to touch on that, I wanted to put Gunnar Russ's comment up because I also want to make this point too about us fans, about we understand winning and losing. And you're a fan too, Kev, because you've been a fan of Arsenal since you were a young boy growing up in South London. And I think that's where the angst or the frustration or the elation and the euphoria comes from. Is you go through those 3 games, Palace, Brighton, Southampton, as a fan, you're going to say, what the heck? And then you go through these last 4 games and you win and you say to yourself, well, what the heck? You know?
So if you lose those 3 games, you think you've blown it. Let's be honest. Because we've got designs on the top 4. We think we've blown it. You know, Spurs all of a sudden start winning. They go into 4th spot. I think we went down to 6 at one stage, Soph. After losing those 3 games, everybody's like that. We've blown it. You know, look at that.
Right.
And then you go to Chelsea and win. Great win, 4-2. Eddie really pops up with 2 sweet goals. You know, you play against Manchester United, you beat them. You go to West Ham, you beat them. And then, let's be honest, a must-win game against Leeds, you beat them. And here we are, 3 games to go. We're going into the North London derby. And we could not only get top 4, but we could knock Spurs out. Knock them out.
Glorious.
And finish above them. Wow, that's a treble. That's a win treble.
Yeah, I agree.
We know it's not going to be easy.
Exactly. And I think Matt brings up a good point here. I've kept this comment up, Kev, because I was on TalkSport with Adam Catcher and Carlton Cole on Friday, and again with Paul Ross, and they both, the questions they've asked, and I know they've asked you this on Sky and on the international networks, is this team built for Europe? And the answer is absolutely not. This squad, and Matt brings up a good point in terms of when you mention Rob Holding, when you mention Elneny, when you mention Eddie, you're underlining the importance of having a squad, players who can come in when there are injuries, players who can come in when players dip in form. Kev, there's no doubt about it that if we're going to be playing in Europe, in the Premier League and in the domestic cups, this squad has to get fatter and fatter. So do the Rob Holdings and the Elneny stay? Does it? We've talked about Eddie, and I think we both agree on that. What's your take on how the squad is going to? You've always said 8 players. Do you still stand by that?
Yeah. Well, if all of these players leave, we might need more. Rob Holding, I think, is going to stay because he's got a few years left. Elneny, I think we could sign again because I think you're playing in the Champions League and then you're playing in a league game. Elneny could do a job in the league. We've seen that. He can do a job. And when you're in the Champions League, you have to rotate. You need the squad to be able to rotate. So I think we can. Eddie, I don't think is the answer, if I'm honest with you. I don't think if Eddie was on the open market away from the club, I don't think he's a player we would go for. You know what I mean? I don't think he is. So, yeah, he's had a nice little purple patch at the moment, and long may it continue to the end. But I think we really have to ramp up them striker positions because, you know what, Sophie? Here's one for you. If we got 2 strikers in and the 2 strikers scored an extra 25 goals between them, where could we be? So that's one scoring 12 or one scoring 13. Where could we be, Soph? You know,
100%.
We could be right up there. So I understand Eddie's doing well now. And listen, Eddie, I thank Eddie for having the right attitude, Soph, because he could have easily tossed it off. Let's be honest. He could have easily went, I'm down in tools. But he's always been hungry. He's always had the right attitude. That's why Arteta stuck with him. Many people have questioned, why is he sticking with Eddie? Why is Eddie on the bench? Why is Eddie coming on? This is the reason why, because his attitude is right.
And Kev, we have seen a lot of players who are disgruntled and want to start, throw their toys out the pram. And despite the fact that he hasn't signed a new contract, Arteta has wanted him to stay. Good for him that he's put himself in the shop window. I don't think any Arsenal fan will begrudge him of the fact that if he does move on and he does go to another team after what he's helped do, even in these games, even if he doesn't score another goal for the rest of the season, but he contributes somehow. The fact that he's come in, he's been professional. Same thing with Lacazette, has not wanted to stay. He's always been professional and he's put his heart into it. Just didn't work out in the latter part of the season for him with the games. But Kev, we're not going to begrudge Eddie. Like, good for you that there are teams now saying, hey, hold on a second. Crystal Palace maybe. That could come back around again for him. Those things. I think Elneny's worth keeping as a squad player because of the fact that he's just one of those mature players who's also, Arteta called him a silent leader, or even Wenger has said before, talking about him as a silent leader. Rob Holding, I think, once again, Kev, proves that when he comes in, he does a decent job. Is he the answer long term? No. But you need these players in the squad, Kev. You need players like this who are willing to take that back seat, not necessarily be the star of the show, but be happy to be part of the Arsenal Football Club and come in when they're needed and when they're required.
Yeah, and you know what, Soph? Next season, Rob Holding might be 4th choice. Because Saliba's going to be 3rd choice probably, or whatever. But Rob Holding, in the cups, he might get his game time in the cups. Shows he can play. He can play. He can do a job, and that's been our problem, Sophie, hasn't it? When we leave the real starters out, we haven't been strong enough depth-wise, and it looks as though we're throwing the cups away. but we're just not good enough. But obviously, if we get enough bodies in there, then we could mix and match, we could change, we could rotate, and still carry major threat. That's what we need.
All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight, you guys. It's been a few days since Super Kev and I've been together live. Thank you. It's a makeshift connection for me tonight, and thank you so much for embracing it. Super Kev sounding as crisp and clean as ever. We're coming to you from the north of England and the island of love in the middle of the Mediterranean. The Highbury squad always just trying to bring you content during these insane last few days of the season, where we're both doing a lot of traveling and working and stuff. We've missed you as much as you've missed us. And thank you for all of the messages that we've been getting. We've been inundated. I've been sharing them with Super Kev. You guys are awesome. Kev, we got 530 in live chat on this fine Monday evening.
Tammy, how many likes?
And good evening to Singapore, the middle of everyone's like, our listeners from all corners of the earth.
Brilliant.
No matter what time in the world it is you tune in, you're absolutely brilliant. All right, Kev, we're 36 minutes in. We've talked about Leeds. Concerns in the second half, real quick, if you can wrap it up for us in like a minute, where we let in the goal, 10 men, we got complacent. Clearly, we're not going to be able to do those kinds of things against Tottenham. We know that we can't do those things against top teams. We've seen ourselves falter in those moments. Was it mental? Did the mental engagement just kick out for a little bit? Were we looking too ahead? What's your take on the second half and how we kind of, let them back into the game when really we had that game nailed?
Sophie, the problem with Arsenal in the second half was we had chances and we didn't take them. We had major chances to score in the second half. Odegaard, Martinelli, we had some real good chances to score. But when you don't take them, Sophie, you leave yourself always open. And you know what? From straight, kind of directly from a corner, that was the first goal Arsenal's conceded. For that flick on and, for Llorente to be at the back post on his own, that's a miscommunication. That is people switching off. That's because things have been that easy. Can't afford to do that against Spurs. We do that against Spurs, we'll get beat. That's for sure. And it's a different game. It's a different feeling. There's a lot more riding on it as well. Our boys will turn up. But I just think we a bit complacent. It was 2-0, but, they were playing, we'll get another chance. We'll get another chance. And then they responded. They have to have a goal, Soph. And then they get one. And then it's, we don't want to overcommit. So you don't push as much. And then they start getting hold of the ball. And they start looking like they've got 11 players on the pitch, unfortunately. So, we've done what we had to do. We got over the line, Soph. That was it. It became a little bit nervous in the end. But, hey, that's fine. The key now, Sophie, is that's gone. All the chips are in the middle of the table, Soph. Spurs have to win. We win, we gain 3. We get the treble win. So we got to be confident. We got to be confident. They're trying to take what we got, Soph. They're trying to take what we've got. No chance. Come on, boys. Boys have to believe.
So a few people have written that you should do the team talk before the game, the big North London derby. We're playing in their backyard. We've done well at the old White Hart Lane. We've won the league there twice, Kev. We've broken their hearts many, many times. There's something about this Arsenal team that believes, that has a confidence, maybe a cockiness to it, but I think it's a confident cocky, not an overly, the kind of cockiness that you don't like to see, that kind of gets you in a little bit of trouble. Who are you playing in that back line on Thursday, Kev? Are you sticking to the way we played against Leeds? Was the the Leeds set up a trial run for Thursday. What is your take?
Yeah, but I think potentially it is. Obviously, I'm not sure of the state of Ben White's hamstring. I think he's going to be in contention. But with a hamstring, he's going to get tested early on. Son, Kane, and them guys are going to test him early on. So, and if the hamstring ain't right, we don't need, to be making substitutions early or whatever, because those substitutions in the end might prove to be the making of us in the end. Let me tell you. Thanks for the likes, Tammy. Thank you. Well done, everybody. So, Sophie, that's it. I think you keep this winning team going. If there was one change, maybe Ben White comes in, but that's if there's any problem with his hamstring, we don't take the risk. We could have him on the bench, but we don't take the risk, so it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think you always say too, and we've been pretty consistent on the show, Kev, about if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. And I think to give Arteta credit too, I thought Martinelli was brilliant in that first half against Leeds. I thought he came in and did the business again, Kev. He, Elneny, Odegaard and Holding, I thought were probably the four best players on the pitch for us that day. I agree with you about the back line. Why risk Ben White? Rob Holding's done a decent job. If he can come on later on in the game, if we need him, great. Are you also sticking, you saying that, but about the team, you're sticking with Martinelli and you're keeping Emile Smith-Rowe on the bench. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I think Smith-Rowe's got a part to play later on in the game after an hour, 65 minutes. When the game starts to get stretched, I think that's when he comes into his own.
Considering, Kev, how Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe played together in the North London derby at our place early in the season, I mean, we destroyed them. Do you think Arteta will be thinking about that in the back of his mind just a little bit, unleashing the Haylen boys again? In his mind, do you think, no, I'm going to roll with this team that has done well over the last 3 or 4 games? What's he going to do?
I think he'll look at the last game, obviously, but I think the way Martinelli played on Sunday, he would look real dangerous going down that left-hand side. And he looked a real threat. So I think he retains his place. Like I say, I think Smith-Rowe has a real big part to play late as the game becomes stretched. The game in the first half is going to be tight. It's going to be a war. So it's going to be a war. It's going to be battle of attrition. Højbjerg and those guys are going to be sticking their foot in and they're going to be trying to cause all sorts of problems. But we have to be vigilant. We have to be strong. And we have to make sure we keep our distances between each other correct. Because if we get stretched, that's where Son and Kane live. They like to live in the spaces and then they break. You saw them against Liverpool. They were causing Liverpool all sorts of problems because Liverpool, in the end, fullbacks push on and they get stretched. So, we've got to play a smart game. And I think we will. I think we'll play a smart game, not give up too much ground, but not give them what they want. That's the key.
And we're not the ones that have to go for it, Kev. We're not the team that has to go for it. In this instance, I wouldn't blame Arteta if he comes out conservative. Tottenham really like it when sometimes, I don't know, Kev, they don't necessarily play that well when a team kind of plays that conservative way. They love it when that Liverpool game was perfect for them, wasn't it, in terms of how they like to play. And I thought Klopp had sour grapes. As much as I do not like Tottenham Hotspur, his comments after about almost insinuating it was anti-football, I actually thought they played a decent game, Kev. That was a bit insane, wasn't it?
Well, he is going to say that because they dropped points, isn't he? it's terrible for Liverpool. It was a bad result for Liverpool, but you've got to say we done it to them at Anfield. You know, in the cup with 10 men, we defended deep. You don't give up space down the sides. You let them keep crossing the ball, Sophie, and you kind of nullify Liverpool's threat. Spurs done it perfectly, and then they caught them on the break and got that breakaway goal. But, you know, Liverpool are going to come back. Liverpool are a top side. So they did do the business, but when they're at home, they have to come and attack. So I'm looking for us to do what they do to teams. I'm looking for us to do that.
So would you like us to play them in the first 20 minutes the same way we played them at the Emirates? Or do we go back to what we said a few minutes ago and approach it a bit more conservatively, considering how they like to play, how they perform with the low block, etc.? Kev, what if that opening 20 minutes to me
they're
is
not going to play the low block. They're not going to play. They can't afford to.
Against the low block, block.
Yeah, well, they struggle against a low block. They struggle against a team that could sit deep and say, come on.
Yes.
Because then you can pick them off because they're not blessed with speed at the back. So that's the game plan. We've got lads with pace. Eddie can run. Saka can run. Martinelli can run. What do they need? They need space to run into, Soph. And they can handle the ball. If the ball gets played up to them, they can handle it and maneuver it to get in behind. That's what we do, Soph. That's the way we play. We defend deep. So Son and everyone can't get he likes to run into space. We've got to be very smart how we, but again, it's the distances. And this is where Ramsdale's going to play a really key part. Against West Ham, we saw him nearly get sent off. Didn't we? We saw him nearly get sent off for that wild challenge. Luckily, he didn't make any contact. But he's got to be that sweeper. Anything that goes over the top, he's got to be on it, Soph.
Okay, so as we go into this game, do you think we've been a better team than them this season, Kev? I was having a conversation with George the other day, and he was like, imagine if we had, and you said it earlier, imagine if we had a Son or a Kane, or just, a Kane. But do you think we've been a better team than them this season, if you look at where we're at right now? Or do you think it's...
Of course. Look at the league. The league don't lie. After 35 games, it doesn't lie. Up to this point, we've been better. But I'm going to say it again, Sophie. This is the prove it games. These games are the prove it games. And we really need to take them out. We need to knock them out. We need to knock them out. Or if we don't knock them out, we don't lose. Because going into the last two games with a 4-point cushion, I fancy our chances big time.
Yeah. I think, I thought that Antonio Conte set them up well against Liverpool. They were up for that game. They're the ones that are under the stress and pressure. Do you like the fact that we're going into it 4 points clear, Kev? Because we've seen our team be a little bit complacent at times. And when we expect them to perform, they haven't. You said of course, we want to go in for the kill and finish them off on Thursday. Does it worry you that 4-point cushion, just the juxtaposition to it, is not good for this young team? Do you trust that they'll be prepared, they'll be drilled, they won't take that 4 points too much and be complacent about it?
Well, listen, you've earned the 4-point gap. No one's given it to you. You've earned it. And at the end of the day, Sophie, the team, we've got to be able to trust the team because the team have got us into this position. Now, you're up against your rivals. Everyone knows what's riding on it. As I said, it's the triumvirate. Not only can you knock them out, you finish above them and get Champions League football. That's a sweet trio. So We don't need to worry about or put any extra pressure about 4 points. Can we handle it? We can handle it because we've earned the 4 points. The key to this game is we've got to play our game and we've got to execute when we cross that white line. That's the name of the game. We're going to have to battle. We're going to have to run hard. We're going to have to fight, Sophie, and we win the game. What an absolutely brilliant, brilliant campaign it's been for us to get Champions League football with the young side.
Unbelievable.
We draw. We go into the last 2 games with a 4-point cushion. We lose, then it gets hairy because it's only 1 point. And it's going to come down to the last 2 games. So,
yeah,
that's I'd much rather we win, we knock you out. That's what I'd much rather. We win, we knock you out.
Well,
Because
Kev, I called
gives you
this
big
one.
incentive.
I fancied it, and I called it for a win. I felt like Newcastle was the trap game, the banana skin game. Obviously, Manchester City destroyed them, but Manchester City have destroyed a lot of teams this season. I fancied us going into this North London derby. A friend of mine said, I maybe would have fancied us more if they didn't get, if they'd gotten a result against Liverpool. And I'm like, well, they did get a result. They got a point, which isn't easy to do at Anfield. Mr. Lee Judge is in the house. We can do them.
Of course
well said,
we can.
Gianni.
Gianni, we can do. Listen, of course we can do them. We can do them. And you know what? This is what every Arsenal fan wants. We want to take them out at their place. How sweet would that be? Seeing the boys celebrate with the away fans there finally, and we've knocked them out. We've got Champions League and we finish above them. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I think that's when the humble pie will have to come out of the oven, Kev. I was hoping to eat the humble pie when I got home, but I may just have to get a Greek humble pie. There's a great bakery around the corner from my mum and dad's house. They bake fresh every single day, Super Kev. So I think we've got it. I think we've got it covered. We got Danny from a Bergkamp Wonderland in the house now too. Everyone looking. Matty K wants us to flush them away. The whole squaddy's getting involved. 560 of you in live chat right now. Been awesome, absolutely awesome. Getting tips from the Greeks where to go for my pie, so we're in good hands, Kev. Nice. I don't care. I will eat 10 pies if it means my Arsenal finishing in this fashion, and for us to turn it around the way we have. And
Sophie,
as I said,
I've got a question.
Yes. All right.
Arsenal qualify for the Champions League. Is Mikel Arteta manager of the year?
Yes. If Liverpool do not win the quadruple or the treble, I say yes. And I said this to Adam Cattrall and Carlton Cole on TalkSport on Friday. And he's like, hang on. Earlier in the season, you wanted him out. Now you got him as manager of the year.
Just say, yeah, you're right. I'm a flip-flop. He's all right.
Yeah. I said, but Adam, I said that when you were on our show 3 months ago. Like, if he does that, that is a massive achievement. Nobody was expecting it. And he's been rewarded with a new contract, Kev, because he's qualified for Europe.
Yeah, and with the youngest team. So that only goes to show the only way he's up from there, Soph.
I'm not afraid to say that out loud. And having the youngest team, there was another team once that were told that you can't win with kids, and they went on to win the Premier League. We haven't gone on to do that, but we're also not the same team where they had experienced players around them, Kev. They had Eric Cantona, they had Steve Bruce,
Robson,
they had
Pallister,
Robson. I mean, these are major league players. We've done it resting everything on the shoulders of the Halen boys, Martinelli. I mean, Ramsdale coming in, he's a young goalkeeper. He's nowhere near even the level of maturity yet that he's going to reach as a goalkeeper. Tomiyasu's still young. Ben White is still young. Yeah, 24, 23. But when you only have Thomas Partey and Xhaka and Lacazette around you as your senior players, it's a massive, massive achievement. And I don't think anyone will begrudge the manager. If you're a sensible Arsenal fan, you can't begrudge him for achieving that goal.
Yeah. Listen.
Oh, we got Jags in the house.
Hey, Jags, he's won again.
All right, Kev, let's get down to this. And everyone, let's roll, right? Thursday, under the lights, the whole world will be watching. It probably will be the most watched North London derby ever. It's going to be angst for us, but I'm also looking forward to it. I don't know why. I really am. Super Kev, how does this game play out?
Tottenham Hotspur 1, the Arsenal 2. We get top 4, we knock them out, and we finish above them. And Sophie eats 10 pies.
I can't wait. I'm actually happy I'm in Cyprus because they do really great cakes here. It may be a cake / pie. I don't know. It's going to be something.
Cake, pie, it's all good. 2-1, I'm feeling.
I think, it's going to start off. I hope there's no sending off. I hope there's no, one of those situations where the referee ruins the game and there's any of that. I mean, with a big game like this, anything can happen, Kev. I do fancy a lot of goals in the match. I think we win the game 3-2. And Eddie carries on his run. And I think we seal the deal on Thursday. And I would love it. I'll tell you what, Kev, I would love it if we beat them. I would love it.
I'll tell you what, I love it as well. But you know what? It's not going to be easy. We know that. It's going to be a tough game. But this is why we're the Arsenal. These games, we win this game. Some of these youngsters have never played in a game so big.
Kev, who do you think is the most important player for this particular? They're all important. But for me, it's like having Tommy back gives me a lot of confidence. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is the most important player in this particular match?
I think it'd be Aaron Ramsdale, if I'm honest with you. Because he's got to be able to communicate with that back four. And he's got to keep his emotions in check as well. I think that's really important in this game. Because if you don't, you can cost us. Because, any mistakes could prove to be fatal for us. So I think Aaron Ramsdale in this one, I could easily say Gabriel and Holding or anyone. But I'm going to say Aaron Ramsdale because he's shown some immaturity at times. Soph. And now we're at a big game like this. I think it's really, really important that he has a maturity about him. And he marshaled that back four. I think that's really crucial as well. Marshal that back four, keep them tight, shut them down. Do you know what? I'd love a clean sheet. So I would love a clean sheet. I really would. Wow.
Well, against that front line, Kev.
Yeah, I would love a clean sheet. But I think 2-1. I think we'll win 2-1.
All right. We're not. Craig and a few others have asked if we're going to go to a back three, Kev.
No, I can't see it. Why? Why would we go to 3? That leaves more space down the sides of us. No.
All right. There you have it. Kev has got 2-1. I've got 3-2. A lot of you have 2-2, 3-1. Lots of 3-1s in the house, for sure. Some 2-1s as well. This is the game. There's 2 games every year, and we all look to when those games are going to be played. Kev's played in them and scored in them as a player. There's only 2 games in a season that you absolutely cannot lose, and that is the North London derby. I actually think we're a better team now, Kev, than we were when we beat them 3-0 earlier in the season. We've matured a lot. We've come together a lot as a group. And yeah, it's not over yet. And like you said, it's going to be super, super tough. But my goodness, it's there for the taking. And this team can come around turnkey in terms of its emergence and closing the deal and beating out Tottenham, beating out Manchester United, beating out the new media darling West Ham and David Moyes' squad, Kev, to a Champions League spot. And by the way, they asked me on TalkSport and I refused to go there because the question that I was asked, of course, was, well, can you finish 3rd? And I'm like, I just want to finish 4th right now. Let's just nail 4th.
Sophie, here's the crazy thing. I think Leeds play Chelsea on Wednesday. That game could be to go 3rd as well for us. Who knows? We know how this football bounces. You know, if Chelsea draw, we win, we're 3rd. So, hey, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we're going to know on Thursday morning, aren't we? The implications of us winning.
I mean, look, anything's possible, but right now I'm just going to keep that focus on 4th. And if 3rd happens, well, what do you say about this team then? I don't know how many humble pies you can bake in an oven at one time, but, you know, maybe need 2 ovens, Kev.
Hey, I got a double oven here, don't worry.
I bet you have a double oven. All right, Tammy, our chief like officer. Nice job. We got 530 in live chat. We've got 327 likes, Super Kev.
Absolutely brilliant,
stellar job, as have the squaddies.
Absolutely brilliant job, squaddies. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I hope you enjoyed this this podcast. We know Sophie's on the island of love over there. And, you know,
baby.
It can get a bit sketchy, the internet, but, you know, we wanted to, with my schedule and Sophie's schedule, obviously wanted to get you a show before the North London derby. And this is it. So give you some time to relax. Tell your loved ones you love them. And we go on Thursday for the kill. We've got to.
That's my Samurai Soph move right there.
Samurai.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Brilliant stuff. Listen, you guys, our fans as well, home and away, you've been unbelievable. And our fans internationally keeping up the energy on social media. Keep it going, keep it rolling. We will be squeezing in a show about our Arsenal women too. We came close, Super Kev, but we couldn't close the deal. That loss to Birmingham, the draw to United, the draw in the North London derby, I think came back to haunt us in that. But our girls did a phenomenal job. And Jonas in his first season, he went for it, didn't quite get there, but nonetheless, we're very proud of our Arsenal women as well.
Do you know what, Soph? Scared the life out of Chelsea. Absolutely scared the life out of Chelsea. And you know what? When it's like, okay, Chelsea were losing, Arsenal kicked on. They pushed on and they took care of business. That's all you can do. There's nothing you could do with what Chelsea are doing. You've got, because you know what's worse, Soph? If Chelsea don't do the business and then you don't do the business, how bad do you feel because you haven't done the business? So you just make sure you take care of business and let the rest ride. And, you know, Chelsea they've been perennial winners, haven't they? They know how to get it done.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
You know, more determination next season, girls, but you're close. You are closer to them than a lot of people ever thought you'd be. You know, you do it next season.
Definitely. All right, that's all we got time for today, you guys. An epic 1 hour, 5 minutes. Talking Leeds, talking the North London derby, waxing lyrical about certain players, looking a little to the future. There's going to be plenty of time and plenty of shows for us to do that. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't ever forget, we've missed you as much as you have missed us. Hit that like button on the way out if you have not. Tell your friends about the Highbury squad. We've got some super exciting things that we're planning and plotting for next season. But let's finish this season first. Let's finish strong. Let's finish good, and let's nail the enemy on Thursday. Super Kev, take us out.
Right, squaddies. Sophie, thank you for joining us from the island of love, my darling. Thank you so much for organizing everything. Squaddies, we love you. We miss each other. But you know what? Sometimes the absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it? Tell your loved ones you love them. And I want you to put your hand on your heart for Thursday. We love our boys. We love this team. And we're going to go for it. Let's get that top four. Let's all feel it. Send a vibration out to the team. And let's get over the line. And let's get celebrating. And let's get Sophie eating 10 humble pies. I can't wait. So, squaddies, look after yourself. We love you. Take good care, squaddies. And you know what comes next. At ease, squaddies.
Is it going to work? It might work.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.